Do not come to Canada as an international student if your ultimate goal is to just get a PR. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, then I am Turusha and I make videos about life in Canada. And today's video is really special because I'll be talking about different ways or different methods that you can take advantage from the new rule change here in Canada for international student. There are a lot of videos that talk about the changes that's happening for international student here in Canada, but I'm going to talk about different methods and the ways that you can benefit from this situation, so you can ultimately decide if you want to come to Canada or not. So if you like this video, please press the thumbs up button, and most importantly, share it with your friends and families who are planning to come to Canada, and I'm sure they'll benefit from this video. And comment down below with any questions you have, or you can reach out to me on my Instagram. My Instagram handle is just in the description below. So let's start the video by talking about the part-time extension. As you all know, I was allowed to work more than 20 hours. I worked up to 40 hours here in Canada, and this rule was supposed to end by December 31st, 2023. However, the rule has been extended up to April 30, 2024. Anyone who's applied for the student visa on or before December 7th, 2023, and whoever is already in Canada, the international student who are already here in Canada, can work more than 20 hours till April 30, 2024. Now, anyone who's planning to come to Canada, how is this going to affect you, and what can you do different to take advantage of this situation? First, you need to understand that if I have a job here in Canada and I am working full-time, I'm working more than 20 hours, I'm not going to leave my job. So anyone who's already in Canada, most probably who's come for September intake as well, has gotten a job here in Canada. And if they're allowed to work more than 20 hours, they're not leaving their job. So there is going to be difficulties in finding a part-time job. You need to have something different. You need to have some skills, something different that's going to make you stand out so that you get a part-time job. It can be anything. You can pick up any skills like designing, or any skills related to cooking, or anything related to beauty and salon. Anything that makes you different, that will help you get a part-time job in Canada. Because when everybody is working 40 hours, the employer would not hire someone who's just going to work 20 hours, right? So you need to understand that you need to have something that makes you different from the crowd, and something that will help you get a part-time job easily and compete with people who are already working 40 hours. Now, moving from this, I also want to talk about a very important thing, that is, if you're coming to Canada as an international student, you need to understand that it is going to be expensive. If you're coming here thinking you'll work in Canada, you'll pay your rent, you'll pay your groceries, and ultimately you'll pay your international student's fee, it is going to be very difficult, especially when you're only going to work 20 hours per week. And this is not the case for the students with GIC. I'll talk about students with GIC later in the video. This is for students who do not have GIC. When you work 20 hours per week in minimum wage, you'll approximately make around $1,200. And your expenses are gonna be somewhere around $700, $800. So it's going to be very difficult for you to collect the money for your fees. Taking a loan is one of the options for this, but you need to understand that if you're coming to Canada as an international student and taking a huge amount of loan back in your home country, the course that you're coming for is worth it. Do not come to Canada as an international student if your ultimate goal is to just get a PR, because coming to Canada as an international student is going to be expensive in 2024, especially with the changes in the rules. So when you come to Canada, make sure you're coming to Canada to study, and the course you choose should give you a good return on investment. If you're choosing any course just to get the PR ultimately, do not come to Canada. There are many other countries that you can go to. There are many other countries that give you PRs, but if you're coming as an international student investing so much money here in Canada, you need to come for the course that's gonna pay you back, that's gonna give you good investment on returns. So come for courses that's gonna pay you back. Come for courses that's in demand in Canada. Do not come for any course just because you want to come to Canada and live this Canadian dream and ultimately settle in Canada. It's going to be a very expensive affair. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, because it's really important to give real information about Canada. I do not want you to come to Canada and then get to know the real situation. I want to help you to understand what's the situation here in Canada right now. If you're really a serious student, then you can come to Canada, and I'm sure you're going to do well in Canada. But now you need to have something different, you need to have skills, and you need to choose a course that's going to pay back. Now let's talk about students who already have GIC. that is the guaranteed investment certificate. I did not have GIC because I was from Nepal, but students from India and other countries pay a certain amount of money upfront to Canadian bank, and they get those money back in their bank account slowly over the period of a year. The amount was approximately $10,000, but the amount has been increased by $10,000 more dollars. So the amount of GIC is approximately $20,000, which is a huge amount of money just to put up front in addition to the first year's tuition fee. So most of the student who's coming to Canada, right, it will be difficult for us to put up approximately $20,000 in GIC plus $16,000 to $20,000 your first year tuition fee, approximately $40,000 Canadian dollars at one go. This is going to be difficult. You will need to take loan for this. And while talking loan, I'll go back to the first point that I talked about. If you are taking loan, make sure that your course gives you good return on investment. I cannot emphasize on this enough. There are so many courses that are in demand in Canada, and if you're coming to Canada, please choose those courses. That is going to help you. Now, putting upfront $20,000 as GIC amount, that's just going to be holed up in your Canadian bank, and you're going to get some amount of money every month. This money you can totally save for your next year's tuition fee. If you're coming as an international student, right, and you're working 20 hours, $1,200 is going to be enough to cover up your expenses for rent, groceries, and stuff like that. So if you save up your GIC entirely, you can pay your tuition fee. But it's important that you are serious and you really want to save your money, right? It is going to be difficult for parents to put up $20,000 in GIC and $20,000 in fee and $40,000 altogether. It's all about return on investment, guys. I cannot emphasize on how important it is to come to Canada and choose a good course that's going to pay you back, especially with new changes. It is going to be expensive. So I'm not trying to scare you, but if you're coming to Canada, think about the course you're coming to Canada for. Think about the skills that you have. Think about what you can do different to stand out. And now, I don't think the casual attitude of coming to Canada as an international student just to get the PR ultimately is going to help. This is all for the part 1 of the video. Part 2 will come out next week, so please stay tuned. Until next time, ta-da!